The big weekend show begins with a Fox News alert. Good evening. I'm Nicole Sapphire, along with Joey Jones, Alicia Acuna, and Joe Concha. New video just in of the second wave of hostages released by Hamas just hours ago, crossing into Israel. These are the faces of the 13 Israelis released, ranging in age from 3 years old to 67 years old. Also released, 4 foreigners from Thailand. And tonight, new video of the 24 hostages freed by Hamas yesterday on the first day of the deal that includes a break in fighting. Now, the number of total hostages released climbs to 41. 195 hostages are still being held by Hamas tonight. These freed hostages are signs of hope, like this emotional moment when 9-year-old Ohad ran into his father's arms for a heartwarming hug after 49 days in captivity. Jeff Paul is live in southern Israel tonight. Jeff, good evening. Any word on the American hostages?
Yeah, so far they are not among the hostages who have been released, but we are learning that all 17 hostages who made it out today are either en route to area hospitals or are at the hospital right now. The 4 foreign nationals who were released are sent to a hospital just outside of Tel Aviv. 12 of the Israeli hostages were sent to the Sheba Medical Center, which is also just outside of Tel Aviv. But one of the Israeli hostages was sent to a hospital closer to the Egyptian-Israeli border due to her condition. She needs a surgery right now, but we are told it is not life-threatening. Now, today's events just really cap off a very stressful and tense day. Unlike the day before, where things ran rather smoothly, today was delayed by 7 hours, and that is in part due to Hamas accusing Israel of them not leading or agreeing to their agreement in this. Hamas says that Israel is not releasing the types of prisoners that they expected, and they also wanted to see more aid head to northern Gaza. Israel, though, countering and disagreeing with that, saying they are living up to the agreement, and accused Hamas of engaging in what they called was psychological warfare, another example of that. But this really underscores just how tense and how fragile this deal is right now. And this is day 2. We have another 2 days of what's expected to be a 4-day pause in the war. But there are some signals that there could be an appetite to extend this 4-day pause. Qatari mediators saying that this could be extended a couple days, maybe 1 or 2 days. The Israeli government has said for every 10 Israeli hostages released, they'll extend that ceasefire. We should also note that this time yesterday and the day before, the Israeli government had a list of the names of the people who were expected to be released the following day. So far, they don't have that list. We're hoping maybe some Americans this time. Back to you.
Jeff Paul, thank you so much. Stay safe. You know, Joey, earlier, an Israeli special ops veteran explained what likely happened in the delay of the transfers hostages today. Take a listen.
I believe it's because Israel has said to and made it very clear to Hamas that if you do not release the hostages that you agreed to, we will continue and even up the aggression as far as special operations forces on the ground.
So he was saying that he was believing that could have been a pause today because of, that Israel has continued to say this is not going to be the end, and they are going to continue their efforts until Hamas is completely destroyed. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the text of the ceasefire that was signed by both parties in front of me. All we have is what's been reported, and I've tried to make good notes because this has been very interesting to me as to what operational or what tactical opportunities and advantages Israel has had to essentially give up in order to get these hostages back, because I felt like even Netanyahu's face and body language when he announced this was very reluctant. They probably feel like they're giving up more on the battlefield than we even realize, because they probably got them to the negotiating table to give up hostages to begin with because of the pressure they put on them. For example, in the original reporting, it was they were not going to surveil, may have the north and south wrong, but they were not going to surveil half of Gaza at all for the 4 days. And the other half of Gaza, they would cut surveillance, I think, during the day, like from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And so these are things that Israel probably was relying on. And they may have stuck by that 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And now Hamas is saying, oh, wait, we saw surveillance drones, so you're not honoring it. I think there's a lot going on here to where Hamas is realizing they're not going to use hostages to buy their lives back. Israel's going to go kill them, and they should.
So, well, Alicia, earlier today, one of the big things that we saw with today, yesterday the hostage release went very smoothly. Today there was this big pause. And from a human standpoint, tactically, and everything that Joey says is absolutely correct. We don't know behind the scenes what happened. But this was a stark reminder that Hamas is still in control, and there are a lot of innocent lives there. Earlier today on Fox and Friends Weekend, a former Taliban negotiator, he says, though, because as we all know, that Hamas continues to win the information war, they continue to have these sympathizers, that they will continue to release the hostages because they're good at getting good press. Take a listen.
One thing that Hamas is really good at actually is PR, is making people feel bad, making people forget that they are the ones that caused all of this, is what you see. And so I think that would be highly unlikely that they would do something like execute hostages, because they're much better and much more thoughtful. I think you'll see an efficient transfer. It's in Hamas's best interest right now to make an efficient transfer.
Yeah, and you know, one thing that I think's not getting as much attention, for every one innocent civilian hostage that's being released back to Israel, they're getting about 3 criminals being released, Palestinian criminals, and we're not just talking about petty theft. The people who were released today, they had been throwing stones, they had stoned people, they were attempting stabbings. They are getting 3 times as many criminals back to Palestine as innocent civilians, but that shows you how much the Israelis respect the lives of their civilians.
Absolutely, and Hamas knows it more than anything. And don't forget, Hamas has been under unrelenting pressure as Israel has responded to the attack of October 7th. They need this ceasefire. But when they agreed to release some of the hostages in piecemeal, piece by piece, the Israel and all of Israel's allies got to see this moment and feel this moment of relief, of a little bit of hope, right? And then we also build on that with a little bit of anticipation for the next group of people to come. And that's exactly the moment when Hamas decided that they were going to put everything on pause and take that away and take away that possibility, which again then turns and it applies more pressure on Israel to figure it out. So Hamas definitely trying to send the message that, yeah, we need this ceasefire, but we're also still in control.
Absolutely. Joe, so you have young children. I have young children.
Yes.
Watching those videos of the little boy and little girl we know who's going to be reunited with her father tonight, it just warms our heart. You'd have to remind yourself of the terror that she had and those who missed her. But that's 26 Israelis who have now been returned. 15 Thai foreign nationals have been returned, 0 Americans. When the president was asked about the status of the American hostages yesterday, he said he didn't have an update on them. He had no idea. Earlier today, he was asked about the American hostages, and this is what he had to say.
Mr. President, when will the hostages be released?
I'm hopeful you'll see something soon.
So he has no update on the status of them. He's hopeful maybe we'll see some of them soon. Where's the urgency for American lives?
When you see the president, he's in Nantucket at a $34 million estate owned by a billionaire hedge fund boss. The optic is not very good. It doesn't look like he's truly on top of this situation. He uses this word urgency. There should be some urgency here. And what if we listened, by the way, to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Ilhan Omar or Rashida Tlaib, who are calling for an immediate ceasefire just days after October 7th? None of these hostages would be freed right now. But at least here we have 49 days of bad news, horrific news, all the accounts, the videos of people that were slaughtered, beheaded, kidnapped. Now we have relatively good news. But we'll talk about the children for a moment. And I look at my kids differently every day as a result of this, thinking, well, what if they went through something like this? Abigail Idan, she celebrated a birthday yesterday. She turned 4 years old. She is still a hostage being held. And even if she gets freed, she is now going to go home to a home without a mother and father who were murdered in front of her on October 7th. So even if they get freed, it's like going from one hell to another. But at least we're seeing some folks finally, and particularly children, getting freed. And again, after 7 weeks of just horrible news, we're finally turning a corner and reporting some good stuff, thankfully.
Well, and Joey, just quickly, the New York Post actually says the first hostage, their headline was, the first hostage being released brings fresh proof that Hamas must be destroyed. In it, they said, without a doubt, Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad see Biden administration support for Israel as soft. They want to make Israel agree to a permanent ceasefire, or at least to greatly extend this one so they can resupply as much as possible. The central fact of this this war, Hamas and PIJ must be eradicated, or the words never again have no meaning left. What do you say?
Yeah, real quick. I mean, this was my concern when this was first announced. When they announced that for every 10 hostages released, they'd extend the ceasefire by a day. And they didn't stipulate if all the other parts of it, like the we don't surveil and all of that were a part of it. But what if Hamas says, hey, here's a mom and a daughter, or here are two family members, we're going to release them. Then Israel says, nope, we're going to bomb you instead. That's going to be tough for Israel to keep up if Hamas tries that.
Yeah. Well, this will continue to unfold, and we'll be covering it here.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.